Today's episode is brought to you by Viralcast, the first and only completely done-for-you podcast production service. Build new relationships, create a deeper connection with your database, and get exposure to new audiences. Here's how it works. You interview influencers in your market. You start building that new relationship. Then you take that valuable content and share it with your database. Your guest then shares the content with their list. Everybody wins. You get new relationships, you create a deeper connection with your list, and get exposure to new people that you would never have access to. And look, if you're currently mining your database with video, stop. Audio is the new reality. We are living in an influence economy. Exposure is the new social capital. Go to Viralcast with a K to learn more. And right now, for the first 25 subscribers, we're offering a 50% off the getting started price. Welcome to Super Agents Live. This is the one place where you can come and hear the most successful people in real estate. You'll hear how these super agents built their businesses, how they stay productive, and how they stay motivated. Who am I? My name's Toby Salgado, and I made my first million in real estate. And I'm your host for the next 30 minutes while we talk to yet another amazing real estate entrepreneur. Stay tuned.
Let's go. Yeah.
Hey everybody, what's happening? What's going on? How is your day, your week, your month shaping up? Hey, if you've just found the show, super glad you found it. We've been on a hot streak lately, adding a bunch of new listeners every day. What we do on the show is we talk about entrepreneurship through the lens of a real estate agent. Now, the tactics, strategies, all the stuff we talk about, mindset, it doesn't matter what kind of business you're in. Everything we talk about is pretty much universal to building a business, whether that's a software business, a tech business, you're a plumber, whatever. Now, today's episode, you guys know, if you've been listening for a while, that we try to mix it up, right? We try to mix it up across the country. We try to get new people. We try to get older people or people who've been in the industry for a while. Now, today's guest is in San Diego. I'm obviously, if you've listened to the show, you know that I'm a San Diego guy. And I want to tell you, as you listen to this, especially if you're new, we have some audio quality issues in this, and in fact, I've been sitting on this one for a while, specifically because the audio quality. And look, audio, man, audio needs to be right. If it's not right, it gets distracting for me. So you're going to hear some of the tech issues that we've had. Now, today's guest has a team of 20. With that team of 20, with 4 admin, she does about 300 deals, 292 deals. The good thing about that is for her, she's raking in about $2 million annually in GCI. And if you don't know what GCI, I mean, sometimes we use terms that I assume everybody knows, but GCI means gross commission income. So she's in commissions, she's making $2 million. All right. So what do we talk about? We talk about, she opens up this episode with telling a story of how she got fired from her family business for not thinking big enough. So she took that lesson to heart, and now she's thriving, and that business has failed. We talk about, she's been at this for a while. So we talk about how she adapts and stays current with the economic climate as it shifts and shimmies. One thing that you're going to hear in this episode is, man, interviewing people is a skill. It's tough, and not everybody just comes on and spills their guts. So you're gonna hear me struggle a little bit to find the narrative in this and get the goods. She shares in this how her value proposition, what her value proposition is, and how she uses that value proposition to close deals. We also talk about the power of a database. Now, this is a hot button for me. You guys need to always be continually building your list. And I'll tell you, for most agents and most business owners, this is an area where most people are not just doing it right. And not to cut into Viralcast, but, that's one of the reasons why we launched Viralcast. It's a way to build your database and then mine your database. Today's guest she adds about a little over 1,000 new prospects a year to her database. Now that's great, but just having numbers there, right? Names, numbers, and emails is not good enough. You need to deliver value to that database because there's deals there. I don't know how big your database is, but guess what? If it's over 200, there's deals in there right now. Because, look, I mean, it's just the math, right? On average, across the nation, at any one time, 3% of people are involved in a real estate transaction, and another 12% are thinking about doing a real estate deal. So in any market at any time, 15% of the population is thinking about selling or buying their house. So there's deals in your database. All right. And if you haven't checked out Viralcast, go check it out. Viralcast with a K will build you your own podcast. And we also talk about, it's amazing to me, this girl has been at it. She has a database of 29,000 people, but you know what? She prospects every day. My last episode, episode 246, I share that you can't teach hustle. So this lady definitely has it. So, all right. Hey, real quick. Sorry, I need to get better at that flow, but real quick. If you haven't, go to the site, get on my list. I'm, as I just said, we're all trying to build our database. So get on my list, download my free ebook, go to superagentslive.com. Check it out. My free ebook is How to Sell. If you're so inclined, subscribe to the show and leave us a rating and review. That helps the show. It helps other people find it. Join the conversation on Twitter. We have a thriving Twitter community. My handle is @SuperAgentsLive. Hashtag for the show is Unpack That Idea. All right, that's it. Let's go. I'm thrilled to welcome Ruth Pugh. Hey, Ruth, thanks for taking the time out.
Thank you, Toby.
No problem.
It was a great introduction. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So look, I want to know what you're doing right now in your business. Before we get there, I always like to get a feeling for who you are. So take a minute, tell us a little bit about who Ruth Pugh is.
Well, I don't know how to really answer that. You mean what my real goal is?
No, just what's your background? What's your background? How'd you get into real estate?
How I got into real estate is that I had a company here in San Diego, and it was a family-owned company, and I started the company, and they actually fired me, and they said that I really had a mom-pa mentality. They wanted to go big, and I wasn't thinking big enough. So they said, you go home, you stay home with the kids. So I was devastated, absolutely devastated. And I thought, what can I do and sell more of than they do? And so I got into real estate. And so that was my reasoning for getting into real estate. I wanted to sell.
What did that business do? That was a family business. What did you do?
We had a warehouse distributorship for auto parts. We were direct with Ford Motor Company and General Motors, and we sold auto parts to every single dealership here in San Diego and in Imperial Valley and Mexico.
Now, is that business still up and going?
No.
Okay.
They had to close it.
There you go. And you survived. Okay.
Yep.
So you got, and now I know you've been at this for a long time. Do you?
25 years.
25 years. Okay.
Right.
So when did you, look, here's the funny thing, the whole notion of building a team is relatively new, right? I mean, doesn't go back 2.5 decades. And listen, I talk with a lot of people who've been in the business for 25 years, and normally they get stuck in a groove that's working for them, and they don't adapt with the times. So at what point, Ruth, did you step back and go, yeah, hey, look, I'm going to build a team and really build a business out of this?
Well, it started back in 2002 when I started the team, and I started selling condo conversions in San Diego, and we just built the team, and it's just gone on from there.
Okay, 2002 condo conversions, and then just so I know and the audience knows, I mean, we as a market here in San Diego got hit really hard. You know, in '07 we started to see it. '08 was terrible for everybody. You know, things like condo conversions, which were really really hot. You know, '04, '05 just completely died off. How did you adjust and adapt to that hot market, then going to a really down market?
I was selling back in 2005 and 6 and 7. We were selling 120 a month.
Wow.
So, I mean, 120 a month, and all of a sudden, I mean, it was like the faucet stopped, and so we had to. I mean, I immediately went into. I mean, I didn't have to even think twice. I went into short sales and we jumped on that bandwagon and rode it.
Got it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, you were smart enough to do that. So let me ask you this about the market, right? So if you know, in a down market, what happens is, right, the market goes down, prices go down, and in general, inventory goes down, right? So in a down market, when inventory goes down, you can come out and say, hey, listen, I'm a great agent. I can help you. Now, in today's environment, you know, throughout the nation, it's a very hot market, and there's, again, no inventory. But the difference, Ruth, is that you know, the whole notion of going, hey, I'm Ruth Pugh, I'm the best, you know, let me sell your house. People don't really care because they're like, oh, you know what? I know I'm going to get multiple offers first day, first week. How in an environment like today's environment, inventory low, how do you stand out and get noticed from everybody else?
Oh, you mean as far as getting the listings right now?
Yeah.
In the market?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I can show them in black and white where we can literally get them 10% more than what they're getting right now just because of our negotiating skills. And our database, we have over 29,000 people in our database that we talk to on a regular basis. So,
okay,
it would be the same thing as, you know, obviously I could seriously go cut my own hair.
Right.
But, you know, just like somebody could obviously sell their own home. But, I mean, I could cut my own hair and it would look like hell. And
right.
You know, it's the same analogy. So, you know, when you want something done properly and you want it to look good, come to the finish line with flying colors, you need to hire a professional like ourselves to get the job done.
So let me ask you this: is a little bit. So, you know, you have a database of 29,000 people. So on average, right, you know, if I average it out, you're adding more than 1,000 people a year. So it's, you know, you're adding more than 3 people a day to your database. In terms of building your list, how have you been so successful in adding 3 people a day to your database?
Well, you know, I've just been doing it for a long time. I am a cold caller. I mean, I prospect every day.
You do?
I do personally,
wow.
Yes. We prospect every single day.
Okay. So, and when how specifically you, Ruth, because I'm surprised to hear you say that, because you don't need to. You've been doing this a long time. You're making tons of money. Why do you do that, Ruth? What is in you that you keep putting the gas, you know, putting the pedal to the metal, you know, throwing gas on the fire?
Well, I think where it stems from is that I think that it's very, very important to know what your why is in life, okay, and to really live a purpose-driven life and know why you're doing this. I mean, why do we go to work every day and just really do our very, very best? Why do we do that? And I think that once somebody finds out what their true why is in life, and that is their goal, that's their main vision. I mean, my why is so strong that, I mean, I will prospect every day.
Well, so share it. Tell us what is your why?
Well, my why is 20 years ago, I lost a son to teen suicide. And I almost went to bed with a bottle of vodka and not ever got out. and I decided to either make a difference or go to bed. So we decided to make a difference. Between my son, my daughter, and myself, we signed a contract for $1.5 million with the YMCA to build a gymnasium in memory of my son. We have helped thousands of children, thousands, and brought them off the streets. And God just gave me a great talent to be able to sell real estate. And being able to sell real estate, I've been able to help thousands of children.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, did you get? I'm in the East County out here, so I'm in on Mount Helix.
So you know.
I do know. So my friends, the McGraths, they paid $2 million for the naming rights on the YMCA out here. Did you get
Right.
Did you get naming rights for you?
So the gymnasium, so it's the McGrath Family YMCA, the Dallas Pugh Gymnasium.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
Awesome.
Right.
That is really cool. You finding your why, it would be, that was a terrible situation. For someone else, I mean, do you have any tips where someone else can find their why? Because that is that's as you said, that's the most important thing. It
is absolutely the most important. Do you know what your why is?
I do. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Okay, so we don't need to talk about it. And and that's fine, because some people, but as long as it's embedded in them and they know what their why is, why do they get up every morning? And it doesn't matter what your why is. It doesn't matter if you want to help the little children, if you want to give your children a college education, it doesn't matter what your why is. And your why can change over the years. My why at 20 was not the same as it was at 45.
Right. Yeah,
so,
I'll tell you, I kind of stumbled onto mine. But again, here's what I'm asking, Ruth. So I stumbled onto mine. You a little bit, found yours maybe by accident. I mean, it's, this, again,
it
tragedy.
Was absolutely an accident. Yes.
So do you have any tips for someone else out here that's listening to you to go, hey, I want to find out more? I mean, how would you suggest people go about finding their own reason to get up and get out of bed?
Reading, I love The Purpose-Driven Life. I love that book.
Okay.
I think that there's so many books out there that can help them. And you know what? And I would really even like to extend my help. If there's somebody out there that really would like to know how to get their why, I would love to interview them and just ask them questions and help them find their why, what their why really is. And after you dive into somebody and get a little bit deeper and deeper and know what they're truly about, I mean, you can help them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it. Mm-hmm.
I love it. Let's jump back to business for a second. So you have your why, and that's why you keep pushing. Because that's always intriguing to me, why somebody keeps working long hours and they even when they don't have to. So I understand it with you. What's working for you today in your business?
As far as being able to, right now we are selling between 30 and 35 homes a month within our team.
Amazing.
And we're, as a matter of fact, so far this month, I think we're at 14 sales.
Okay, so 2 a day.
Well, I mean, this has just been a great month. So we're at 14 sales, and I mean, it's just an amazing market right now. I mean, you know that.
Yeah, no, I do, but I think a lot of people are struggling, and I want to know what you're doing here in San Diego that somebody can replicate in St. Louis. Now, here's what I didn't tell you before we started recording. So this show is free for you to. God damn it.
Toby.
Yeah, sorry, Ruth. It's crazy. We record over Skype to get better audio, and I think Skype's having some problems right now. But so
Okay.
I'll just jump off to where I said. So what I didn't tell you before we started recording is, this show is free for you to come on, free for everybody to listen to. We have 40,000 monthly listeners. But it's funded. We have a radio advertising arm. So we have it's called Real Estate Radio Experts. We bring people on, and put them on the radio, AM, FM radio. Now, here's
Okay.
and I tell you that because what I'm experiencing. Again, some markets people are killing it, other markets are not. So for you, this is it's a hot market. You're having amazing success. What are some of the things that you're doing to attract, be able to do? Today's July 7th. So far, you have 14 closed deals. What are some of the things you're doing?
No, we have 14. We have 14 sales.
Okay.
We haven't closed. We're at 10 closing.
Got it. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so anyway, I am absolutely coached by Tom Ferry.
By Tom himself?
Right now I'm not being coached by Tom. I switch it off between his right-hand man and him.
Okay.
But right now I'm being coached by Bill Pipes. And
yeah, sure. And by the way, I don't
know.
Yeah, I know, but Tom's been on this show. I'm friends with Tom.
Right.
We talk all the time.
I know. I love him.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
I love him. Mm-hmm. So anyway, it's all a numbers game. I mean, it's seriously all a numbers game. I know that if I talk to 35 people, I will have a sale.
Wow.
So, and the national average is 50. So if you track your numbers and you're consistent and you treat your business like a business, you show up every day at 8 o'clock, not at 10 o'clock,
right.
At 8 o'clock, you show up, you suit up, you track your numbers, and you're consistent. I mean, because prospecting, I just had one of my agents, just said that she's having a very hard time, calling people. Well, this job might not be for her.
Right.
I mean, she maybe needs to, be in an office where she's, admin. And
right.
Because you need to be able to pick up the phone, be consistent, and be able to talk to 50 people a day.
Now, so for you, are you okay? You can prospect through your database, you can prospect through your sphere, or you can cold call. For you, for you personally, Ruth, when you prospect, is it what database is that out of? Your past clients, your sphere, or is it cold calling?
I do my past clients in sphere of influence.
Okay. Yeah, I figured that.
Right.
For sure. Okay. So yeah, and I think, I'll tell you what Tom said, for out of all the people that his organization coaches, it's actually something like 70 conversations to get a deal out of that. So you're half that.
Well, it just depends on your skill level. I script practice with somebody out of Canada 3 days a week just to keep the skill level up. And I practice with him in Canada because it's 2 hours, they're 2 hours ahead of me, and I can have him call at 5:30 in the morning. We're on the phone for 20 minutes, and we're totally script practicing. So you have to keep your skill levels up, and then your numbers go down.
That's Ruth. That is an amazing thing to hear from somebody like you. And I think and I hope people in the audience that listens to this, they're going to go, hey, somebody who makes 2 million GCI a year, you still have, and you've been at this for a long time. You still have that, that tenacity, that perseverance to get up and practice, right? Suit up, show up, and hit the field, and
right.
Run around the track and get better. So tell us about that a little bit. When you script practice, what does that look like?
Like right now, we're doing listing presentation.
Okay.
And we're doing objection handling. So, and we just go back and forth. Whether because the objections are the same. I don't want to pay 6% commission.
Right.
Whatever. I have a friend in the business. I mean, this.
Right.
It's the same objections every time. So, you know what I mean? It's like, but it's how good are you? You know, what are you doing in your marketing? You know, it's the same thing. So, and it's good to hear other people.
Right. Well, so let me ask you this, and this kind of, I won't run you through how I think, somebody should, get up to bat and do a listing presentation, but, I think the pre-qualification call is really the most important call, because if you can do a good job at that, I believe, and I'm just saying this because I want to know your views, but I think if you can do a great job with a pre-qualification call, you're going to have a very good sense of what those objections are going to be when you get in front of them.
Pretty much.
Yeah, okay. So you believe in pre-qualification calls, and
you cannot go on a listing presentation without pre-qualifying them.
Now, do you have a standard set of questions that you ask them?
Absolutely.
And do you do that, or do you have somebody in your office do that?
No, I do it because I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know. I mean, are they interviewing any other agents?
Right.
What do you think that your home is worth? And tell me again, where are you moving to? I mean, it's the same questions every time.
Right. And why are you moving?
And why are you moving?
Okay. Okay, that's good to know. And also, I guess you and personally doing the calls. You're building rapport with them already.
Right.
Let me ask you this: so when you ask them, are you interviewing anybody else? Do you have do you want to be the first person in or the last?
Right now I want to be the first.
Okay.
And I literally tell them. If they say, because how I start off is I say, if what I say makes sense and you totally feel comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, are you planning on listing your home with me when I come over tonight at 6 or what time? Mm-hmm. And if they say, well, I'm interviewing, another agent, and so I'm glad you told me that. So tell me, you are planning on interviewing another agent, but if what I say makes sense, and you feel totally confident that I can sell your home, are you planning on listing? And I'll know right away.
Right.
And then when I get in front of them, I can say, you told me when we were talking earlier on the phone that you were planning on listing. So anyway.
No, that's great. No, I mean, I love to hear that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and I think so. Let me ask. So they say yes if it makes sense. I'll list. Now, when you're doing your listing presentation, do you break it down by 1, 2, 3, and then at the end you go, does that make sense? Right? Does that make sense? And then you go, okay, hey, listen, it all makes sense. You said you'd list, sign it.
Right, exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Ruth. Someone like you, right? You've been at this a long time, or you have accountability partners or script partners all over the world. You've been super successful for a long time. Why in the world does someone like you feel like they need a coach?
I mean, that would be like saying, does Michael Jordan need a coach? I mean, everybody needs a coach.
Yeah, no, look, I agree. I'm kind of playing devil's advocate for somebody,
Oh, all right.
Because here's the deal. Here's the thing. I can look at any brokerage, and here's what typically you will see. You'll see the top 20% killing it. You'll see the middle 60% like just scraping by or holding their own, and the bottom 20% who are just literally taking up space. Now, the difference between the top 20 and the bottom 20, top 20 has a coach. Bottom 20 doesn't. So I think it's important, but answer that question for me, because there's people that are thinking, geez, I don't need to pay $1,000 a month for a coach. So why do you have a coach?
You know what? How big is your why? It goes back to how big is your why? How bad do you want it? How bad do you want your children to go to the best college there is? I mean, how bad do you want that?
Right.
Or do you want to just get by?
Right.
Or do you want, right now I'm buying a property in Hawaii. I'm so excited about buying this property in Hawaii so my grandbabies can benefit from this. I want to show them, great manners. My why is huge.
That's awesome. So again, you explained your why earlier, but I want to ask you one more time about it. Do you have it quantified? Like, I want to help 10,000 kids.
Okay, so let me tell you, this is exciting. So this is really exciting. So, and you'll be seeing this. So we made our commitment with the Y, and our commitment is now we've paid off the Y. And so now we said, now what do we do? So now our campaign is Go Big, and we have a coin that we're passing out. We just launched this. And the coin is just letting people know that, you may be hurting, you may be wanting to share something with somebody, and I want you to know that here's a coin. I want you to pass this on, pay it forward, help somebody if they need help, and it's just going to be amazing. It's going into all the schools, and we actually want to launch this throughout the nation.
You know what? I'm going to introduce you to a guy named Wesley Chapman. He's got a very similar project. He's got a foundation, same kind of thing. He wants to impact like 1 million youth. So I think you guys would get along. And I think.
What is his name?
His name is Wesley Chapman, and his foundation is called A Human Project. He has a big podcast too. It's a very, very big, popular podcast. But again, I will introduce you guys. I think you guys.
I would love that.
Yeah,
I would love that.
So let me ask you this one. What do you know now, Ruth, that you wish you would have known when you started?
When I was young.
When you started, when you're young, when you're however you want to. Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. That the more I give, the more I receive, and sometimes it's to the point where I think, enough is enough. Oh my gosh, how could these people just be this nice to me? And the more I give, the more comes back, tenfold to my family, to everyone, to my team, to everyone. So I think the more you give, the more you receive.
Yeah, you got to give to get. But when you again unpack that a little bit, because I think people listening to you say that the more you give, I think they're automatically going to go, well, that's money. I don't have that. I'm not going to do that. In what ways can you give?
No. This Go Big, Give Back. Our coin, the GBGB. It doesn't matter if you give your time. It doesn't matter if you help somebody across the street. It doesn't matter, what it is. If you see somebody that needs $5, whatever it might be, and then you just tell them, pay it forward. Just pay it forward.
Got it.
We just launched this campaign, and we just got a call from, and it's only been. It was June 5th is when we launched the campaign, and we've already gotten calls from Los Angeles that these coins have been distributed, where there was a young fellow that was thinking about taking his life. And he says, I want you to know that you have saved my life. And we are going to get him out. He's going to speak to the youth. So it's not money. It doesn't have anything to do with money.
No, I 100% agree. I think, again, people in the audience listening, I think they would naturally associate with money. This is kind of a weird question, but I think you might have a good answer. For those skeptical people, right? I'll tell you two very brief experiences. One, I'm driving out of Fashion Valley one night, right? And I went and got P.F. Chang's Chinese food. I'm driving out, I'm bringing it home, and this girl's crying, right? She's crying on the side of the street. She's got a cardboard, sign, and she's like, I hate to beg, but I have to. So I was like, oh my God. So I give her like $10. I said, "What's wrong? Why do you have to beg?" And she's like, "I can't make my Mercedes payment." I'm like, I felt like, I wanted to say, "Give me my money back." And I think a lot of people think that they think like, well, if I give, and again, this is specifically toward money, but if I give, they're going to go use that on drugs or whatever. What would you say to get somebody over that thinking?
I could share hundreds of stories. I have somebody right now that is with us that was living in a car. And we've brought her in, and she is absolutely on fire. Absolutely on fire. And it's just that she now knows that somebody cares. So, I mean, she's bought a new car. She's got a new home. I mean, I can't even tell you how wonderful it is.
Good for you, Ruth, man. That is awesome stuff. Well, listen, we're going to start wrapping up, but I always ask the same three questions to everybody, and the first is this, Ruth, and I'm curious to your answer because you've made such an impact. Who has been a mentor to you?
I've had 3 mentors, and one is my father, and number 2 was my broker. That when I lost my son, he was right by my side. He is now a pastor of a church, and then Mike Ferry, to be honest with you.
Mike or Tom?
Tom is my coach, but Mike really got me through a lot. So
got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And again, Mike's been on this show as well.
Good.
I always ask for a book recommendation. So here's the setup, and the setup is very much towards building a business. But if you want to give a different book, you can do it. So here's the setup.
Okay. You know what is that? There's so many great books right now, and I think I'm reading like 4. But I think that just on the topic that we have been talking about, I think The Purpose-Driven Life is a great book.
Okay.
A great book.
Hold on.
Purpose-Driven Life. Have you read it?
No, I don't. I don't think I have. I'm looking it up right now.
Rick Warren.
Hold on. I'm looking it up on Rick Warren. I'm trying to find it on Amazon. Here we go.
Purpose-Driven Life. And
yep. I'll tell you what. I'm sure there's. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I'm gonna get it today. I'll buy it today. So everybody, Rick Warren. What am I on earth? What on earth am I here for? There we go. I couldn't read that. Purpose-Driven Life. Go get a copy. Get a free copy on us. Just use our Audible link. Go to audibletrial.com/superagentslive. So listen, Ruth, I always encourage my audience, if they've gotten anything out of this, to reach out and say thank you. Where can people find you? Okay,
let me give you a couple of numbers. And my cell is 619-977-7884. And they can always email me at Ruth@RuthPugh, Pugh.com. Ruth@RuthPugh.com.
Amazing. Hey, Ruth, again, I'll be the first to kick off the thank you train. Thanks so much. I know you have a lot going on, so I appreciate you taking time out of the day and sharing with me and my audience.
Thank you. You've been wonderful. Thank you so very much.
All right. Let's keep in touch, Ruth.
Okay.
See ya.
Okay, sounds great. Bye-bye.
This show is produced by me, Toby Salgado, with help from our research team and production done by Viralcast. If you're building a team and want to make sure you're doing it the most efficient way, reach out to Corcoran Coaching. They coach 83 of the nation's top producing teams. And for our listeners, they'll give you a free business evaluation. Send an email to bubba@corcorancoaching.com and let them know I told you guys to call.
Let's go.